Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs, and today we are going to be making this, oh, happy 4th of July, guys. So we're going to be making this flag, this waving flag, in our diamond today. Isn't that cool? I'm so excited. Alright, so, yes, today is 4th of July, too. Alright. Alright, so we are going to um, chain 2. I am starting with the blue, and I know I put a green border around this, but I'm putting this same blue border around it instead of that green. So I'm changing the color of that border. So we chain 2, and now we need to go to the second chain from the hook and put a single crochet and 2 doubles. And then that is called a falling leaf stitch. That is 1 square. So 1 square consists of the falling leaf stitch. So that is also row 1, and there is 1 square in row 1. So we're going to chain 2 and turn our work, and again in the second chain from the hook we're going to put that falling leaf stitch in there. So it's a single and 2 doubles. And then to make another square, because this is row 2 and you will have 2 squares in row 2, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and in this last stitch, which is a single crochet, you will put the falling leaf stitch in there again. Well, not again, but there's 2. 1, 2. All right, now, and the squares will go up by 1 every row. So row 3 will be 3 squares, row 4 will be 4 squares, so on and so forth. So here is row 3, and I'm going to put this, we're going to be working with 2 different blues today. So in the second chain from the hook, let's start our, I'm having a hard time with the yarn today. Let's start our falling leaf stitch. And I'm only going to do this second double crochet halfway. And so I went through 2 and I have 2, because we're going to put another color in here, because it is going to be, I'm going to call this royal blue, and I'm going to call this blue. Okay, so this is going to be blue that I'm just putting in right now, and we're going to skip those 2 stitches and go into the single. You will always go into the single crochet whenever you make your falling leaf stitch. Alright, and so again, I carried my royal blue so that I can put that at the end. So this in this row we have royal blue, blue, and then royal blue. You need another one. And that's what it should look like for row 3. Okay, so chain 2 and turn. And we start with the You'll always start your first square with a royal blue and end it with a royal blue, since that is our border that we're working with. All right, and now I need to go over to put our regular blue in here and switch over to that. And in this row, you will have two blues in between the royal blues. And you will, of course, have four squares in this row because we are in row 4. And this is one. Chain 2 and turn for row 5. How did I mess that up? There we go. Alright, so I am going to start our square in the second chain from the hook. And then switch over to our blue. And why is that blue? I guess I don't know how I got that tangled up already. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta finish. There we go. All right, so row 5, you will have 3 blue in between the 2 royal blues. And then switching over to our royal blue and finishing off with that. Chain 2 and turn. And for row 6, we are going to have 4 blues in between the 2 royal blues. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there we go. And that is 6 rows, and that's what it looks like. And let's mark off these 6 rows so I don't get too lost. All right, so row 7. We're going to chain 2 and turn, and then start our first square. I like these 2 blues together. All right, and now we're going to pull in red. And in row 7, we need 3 red. Next, wait a minute. Where am I at? How did I do that? We're also going to pull up this blue, but let's put the red in this first stitch. Put 1 here, and in we need 3 red, so in the second red, we're going to pull up that blue and take it with us, that regular blue. I don't know what the heck happened. Did not finish it. So there's 1, 2. This is going to be a pretty cool pattern, and so that we're only dealing with 4 colors, so it shouldn't be too hard. All right, so we have 3 red, and now I need a regular blue. So there, get that. I'm trying to keep these in order, and I need 2 of those, 2 regular blues. All right, and now I'm going, wait a minute, I should have kept that red left behind. There we go. We'll leave that red behind. Now we'll put our 2 blues in. This has been kind of a crazy start. I hope that this goes a little better here in a bit. All right, so that is row 7. And row 8, let's chain 2 and turn and do it real quick. So we'll start out with one royal blue, and then we need two regular blue. So there's one. And two. And then we need our red. And we need four red. So there's one. Two. Three. Oh, I need to get my head in the game here. All right. I want to leave that blue behind there and not take that with me before I start that red, but I need this royal blue to go with me though. Alright, so there's four red, switching over to our royal blue. And there's row 8. And of course you should have eight squares. So let's mark those two, 7 and 8 off. And go to 9. Alright, so we need to chain 2 and turn our work. And we start our royal blue square. In the second chain from the hook. And then we need white. So we're going to bring in the white. So we need 3 white. And then in the second white right here, we're going to bring up this red with us because we're going to need that later. I think these are just like puzzles going together. I love it. Alright, so now we're going to leave that white behind. Bring up the red. And we need 2 red. Alright, we're going to leave the red behind and bring up our regular blue. And we need 2 blue. And then we'll finish it off with a royal blue at the end, and that'll be the end of this row, row 9. And there is row 9, what it should look like. Alright, so let's mark that row off and go on to row 10. And there comes Pumpkin. Hello there, Miss Pumpkin. Alright, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And start our square in the second chain from the hook. Get all comfy there. She's going on her pillow on the chair that I made. She loves that pillow. Alright, so we're going to go over to regular blue next. And we need 2 of those. And then we are going to switch over to our red, and we need 2 of them. And then we need to switch over to our white. And we need 4 white. Oh, hang on a second. I keep forgetting to leave this yarn behind. Alright, so blue, blue. Alright. Is that right? You do that first. Leaving that behind. And now putting our red in. We said 2, right? Yeah, 2. We're going to leave that red behind and put in our white. And we need 4 white. So there's 2. Three, And now we just need our royal blue. And there we have it. So that is row 10, and you should have 10 squares in that row. We'll mark it off and go on to row 11. And we're going to chain 2 and turn. And then we're starting in that second chain from the hook. Oh, goodness gracious. And now we need red. So, and bring this up. Alright, so we need 3 red in row 11 after that royal blue. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to go to white. Oh, what did I do? I needed that white. Wait a minute. I should have. Okay, all these mistakes that I'm making, don't make them. And then I'm going to take this opportunity to remind you that when you do my videos, you should watch them through first, because a lot of these projects I am doing for the first time, and I am a human. I do make mistakes. Alright, so what did we say? 3 red. I need to bring that white up with me, and I didn't, because I'm going to need that white next. Alright, so now we've got 3 red and we need 2 white. I'm carrying the red with me because we need the red again. This ought to be interesting how this goes together, because right now it doesn't look like a flag. But it is corner to corner, so anyway, now putting the white behind, I need 2 red next. So and then we're going to switch over to our blue, our regular blue, and we need 2 blue.
Oh,
we're taking this royal blue.
I think I saw it. Let me clean it. Hold on, Pumpkin. She puked. Pumpkin. Good thing I'm looking. Nobody else is.
And now everybody knows that Pumpkin puked. All right. So there is row 11, and I'm tangling up yarn like crazy over here. All right.
Did you pooch anywhere else, girl?
So now we need to chain 2 and turn. And we need our regular blue. And so we need 2 regular blue again. So there's 1. And 2. And now we need our red. And we need 2 red. So there's 1. And 2. Switching over to our white. We are needing 2 white.
Oh.
There's 1. And 2. Switch back over to our red. And then we need 4 red. So there's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And our royal at the end. All right, and that is what row 12 looks like. All right, I am, we're going to be back for row 13 in a moment. Okay, so row 13, we're going to chain 2 and turn. And
Got 75 minutes. $20 plus gas.
we're going to start the
They're going to reimburse me some of that.
square in the second chain from the hook. And then we need to bring our white up.
Oh, I got the brush work. I'm going to finish up the brush work.
And now we need 3 white. So there's one. Let's bring up this red because we're going to need it later. Two. And three. And then we're going to switch over to our red. And we need two red. We're bringing this white along because we're going to need this white again. So two red. And then we're going to switch over to the white. And we need two white. We're going to need this red one more time. So there's one. And two. And then we're going to switch back over to red. But we're just going to leave that white behind. We're not going to need that anymore. We need one red. And then we need to switch over to our blue. A regular blue. And we need three blue. So three blue and a royal blue at the end. We'll finish up this row. And then switch over to our royal. Alright, so there is row 13 and how it should look. And let's mark that row off. And go on to row 14 now. Alright, so we're going to chain two and turn. Alright, starting our first square and the second chain from hook. And then we need to bring in the regular blue. Switch over to that. And we need three regular blue. And that stitch is hidden. Alright. I must have pulled that single crochet too tight. I could barely find it. So this is two. And then we need another one. We need red next. So let's switch over to that. But we are going to leave this blue behind, because we don't need that blue. We just need one red here. And then we need white. So let's switch over to white. And we need two whites. So there's one, and two, and switching back to red. We need two red. So there's one, and two, and then switching back to white. And we're done with that red. And we're just going to leave it behind. And we need four white now. So four white and a royal blue will finish up this row. There we go. So we got part of our waving flag. This is, I think, is actually the right side. Anyway, that was row 14. We're going to do row 15. Okay, chain 2 and turn. That'll work. And we're going to start our square in the third chain from the hook. Second chain from the hook. Where did I get in 3 at? And then we're going to switch over to white. Nope, we're not. We're going to bring up the red over. All right. All right, so now we need 3 red. So there's one. And on this second red, we're going to bring up this white so that we'll have it. So we're bringing the white along with us. So there's 2. And 3. And Now I need 2 white. We're switching over to white and put 2 white in. And we're going to switch over to the red and put 2 red in. And then we're back over to the white. And this time we need 1 white. Leave it behind and switch over to the red. And we need 2 red. And then we need to switch over to our regular blue. And we need 3 blue and a royal blue. And that should finish off this row. And that is row 15. So let's mark that row off. Goodness. All right, chain 2 and turn for 16. And start off with the royal like usual. And then we need our blue. And this time we need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Where did that go? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, there it is. Well, make them all fall. And I was trying to get this so I could, like, make this go out a little bit so you can see better. All right. Where was I? All right, so here's our blue. And then we're going to bring in the red. So we need one red. And then we need our white. And we need one white. And then back to our red. So we need two red next. And then back to our white. And we need two white. So there's one and two. Switching back over to red. We need four red and a royal blue at the end, and that'll be the end of this row. So there's one, two, three, four. Then our royal blue is at the end. And that is row 16. Oh goodness, where's my... All right. And I gotta clean this up, and I will see you for row 17 in a bit. Okay, row 17. Chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start our square in the second chain from the hook, as usual. Our royal blue square. Alright, and then we need to bring this white up. And we are needing three white. And then on the second white, we're going to bring this red with us, as we're going to need it. But if I finish that stitch first. Alright. One more white. And we need 2 red next. And then we're going to switch over to the white. Remember, I'm videotaping. So there's 2 white. And then 1 red. And then switch back over to white, and then we need 2 white again. So we're done with that white. Go over to the red, and we need 1 red right here. And then we're going to, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'll put these in order first. Now I'll leave that red behind. And now we need 4 blue. So there's 1. Two, 3, and 4. And then we're going to finish it off with the royal blue at the end. Hey, that's it, I'm videotaping. Alright. Chain 2 and turn for row 18. That was 17. So this is what 17 looks like. We'll mark it off. Alright, so I already chained 2 and turned, so here we go with the first square, which is royal blue. And we need 4 regular blue.
Chair should squeeze.
So there's 2, 3, and 4. And then we need our red. And we need 2 red. So there's 1, and 2. Then we need our white. So there's 1 white, and then go back to the red, do 1 red, and then we're going to go back to the white and do 2 white, and then 2 red, and then we need 4 white. But before we do that, we're going to leave this red behind. Alright, so now we need 4 white and a royal blue, and that'll finish off this row. And that is row 18 finished. So let's mark off that row. And row 19, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. And we start out with our royal blue, and then we need to bring the red across. And we need 3 red. So there's 1. Let's bring up on the second red. We're bringing that white up with us. Two. What did I say? 3. And 3. All right, and then we're going to switch over to white. So here's the blue. The red. So we need 2 white next. So 1. And 2. Switching over to the red. And we need 2 red next. So there's 1. And 2. And now let's switch back over to the white. And we need 1 white. And then the red. And we need 2 red. And then we need our white again. And we need 1 white here. And then back over to the red. And we need 2 red. And then we need our regular blue. Bring it up. And we need 4 blue and a royal. And that will finish up this row. Switching over to a royal blue. and that is row 19. What it looks like. Chain 2 and turn for row 20. Starting with the royal blue and going into our blue, we need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we need to bring up our red. Oh, I didn't have all that red. Let's just do it that way. Alright, so we are needing 2 red now. So there's 1, and 2, and then we're going to switch over to our whites. And we need 2 white. One, and 2, and then go back to our red, and we need 1 red, oh wait a minute, alright, and 1 white, back over to our red, we need 2 red, and 2 white, So 1 and 2. And then we need 4 red. Leave this white behind. 4 red and a royal blue, and that'll finish up this row. Alright, so that is row 20, and you should have 20 squares in this row. And let's switch over the page for row 21. And we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting out with the royal blue, and we need to go to white. So we need to bring the white up. We need 3 white. So there's 1. On the second white, we're bringing up this red with us. 2. And 3. Now we're going to switch over to red. And we need 2 red. So there's 1. And 2. And then we're switching over to the white again. And we need 2 white. There's 1. And 2. And go back to our red. We need 1 red. And then back to our white. We need 2 white. and then the one red, and then the two white, and then we're going to switch over to the red, and we need two red, leaving that white behind. We're done with that for this row. And then we're going to switch off to our blue. And we need 4 blue and a royal, and that'll finish off row 21. Alright, and there's 21 rows. Mark it off. Row 22 is next. We're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting off with a royal square, and we're going to switch over to blue, and we need 4 blue, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, and then we're switching over to red, I'm leaving that blue behind. And we need two red. Two red. So there's one and two. And then we need to switch over to white. And we need two white. So there's one. And two. Switching back to red. We need two red. One. And two. And now we're back to white again. And so now we need one white, one red. And then back to white. We need two white, two red. Next. Alright, we're back to the red. Now we need two red. And then we're going to end up with four white and a royal at the end. So four white and a royal, and that's going to finish up row 22. And over to our royal here. And that is row 22 finished. Let's mark it off. chain 2 and turn, and start off with our royal blue for row 23. And then I need to bring the red up. We're going to start out with 3 red after this royal blue. So there's 1, and on the second red, I'm bringing up this white. Bring it with me. 2, and 3. And then we're going to switch over to the white. And we need 2 white. So there's 1, and 2. And then we're going to switch over to the red. And you need 2 red. So there's 1, and 2. And then back over to the white. We need 1 white. Back over to the red. We need 2 red. And then white again. We need 1 white. And we need 2 red. So there's 1, and 2. And then we back to the white. We're needing 2 white. And then 2 red. I left that white behind there. Then we need our blue. and we need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Switching over to our royal to finish up row 23. Chain 2 and turn. That didn't help, did it? I guess we're going to turn this way then. That was row 23, and we're going to mark it off. And I just lost my stitches. Alright, let's put them back in. Alright, so for 24, we're going to start off with this royal blue. And then switch over to our blue and put 4 blue in. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to switch over to red. We need 2 red. So there's 1, and 2. And then we need our white. We need 2 white. So there's 1. And 2. And we're going to switch back over to our red. And we need 2 red. and 2, and then back over to our white, and we need 2 white. So there's 1, and 2, and then we need our red again, and we need 1 red, 1 white in the next 2. And then switching back over to red, we need 2 red, so there's 1 and 2, and then back over to our white, we need 2 white, so 1 and 2, switching back to red. I'm going to leave that white behind. We're not going to need that anymore. We need 4 red and a royal, and that'll finish up this row. So there's 2. 3, and 4. And the royal blue. There is row 24. Finished. And 25. Alright, so we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start out in the second chain from the hook. And then switch over to red. And we need, oh no. Nope, that ain't right. We're not switching to red. We're actually going to bring this blue all the way down here. I wasn't watching. I would have carried it down here. I should have carried that down. Alright. It's alright. This will work too. Just make sure. Alright, so we need 3 blue. So there's 1. We're bringing up this red as we go. In the second blue, we're bringing that red up. Two, and three. Now we're going to bring the red up, carrying this blue down because we're going to need it at the other end. Alright, so now we need two red. So there's one, and two. Switching to white. We need two white. Oh, come on. And where's my blue? Try to keep these in order. Now I need the red. So now I need one red. Back to white. We need two white. And then back to red. One red again. Switching back to the white. We need a two white. Oops, one too many. Oh my goodness. Pull them out. Alright. Switching back to the red. I need two red. And back to the white. 2 white, and then back to the red, leaving that white behind. We need 2 red, and then, hang on, I forgot to get the blue. And then we need 4 blue and a royal to finish off row 25. And in row 25, you should have 25 squares as well. So this is the front of our work. This is what it's supposed to look right now. So there's 25 rows. So tomorrow we are going to finish off this diamond, and we're on 26. We're going to start decreasing on both sides and create some more corners, a couple more corners. And I hope you're having fun making this American flag with me, and I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and bye bye now.